folks, and welcome to Garbage Theater. Tonight's installment, no retreat, no surrender.
No Van Damme.
I'm your host, Chase, with my co-hosts Blake and John.
Howdy.
Yeah, shit. I completely wasted the Sword of Vandammecles.
Yes, you did.
Does that make you feel any better, John? That I totally blew it?
A little bit.
If I had known this motherfucker was going to be in exactly 2 goddamn scenes in this movie.
Yeah, and not barely speak, even.
Yeah. And I mean, there was no reason for him not to be in it.
The only reason this is better than the Glimmer Man is that we didn't have to pay for it.
Steven Seagal had more to do with China Salesman than Van Damme had to do with this.
Yeah. This is true.
Yeah. I can't believe that in doing your research you didn't come across a review that was like, hey, where's Van Damme at?
I was too excited.
You didn't even look at the reviews.
I didn't. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're there. It says there's barely any Van Damme in this, but I was just like, holy shit, we're watching this.
Chase's portrait just appeared next to Blue as Wad in the dictionary.
Oh, God damn it.
Well, you know, what are you going to do?
He was cool in the 2 scenes he was in.
Yeah. I mean, was it even his voice?
Yeah, I think so. It was just, he was
young.
Yeah,
it had the accent.
Yeah, he was Russian, but still had his...
Yeah, by way of Brussels.
Yeah.
Do you know where this is in his career? Is this like his...
This has got to be early.
He looks like he's 17 years old.
Yeah,
he's babyface Van Damme.
Yeah. I mean, this had to have been one of his first forays. This is definitely pre-Universal Soldier, pre-Cyborg, pre-Time Cop. It's got to be.
Yeah.
But maybe this is what made the splash, the Van Damme splash. I don't fucking know. All I know is color me disappointed.
I think it was less rush to make a competition to Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing that I had to look up because this came out in 86. Karate Kid was 84.
Right.
And Rocky 4 was 85.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that his inclusion as a Russian was like entirely because of Rocky 4.
Exactly.
Well, I've never seen I've probably only met 2 legit people from Russia my whole life, but I've never seen someone get so pissed off just by being called a Russian when they were a Russian. He just calls him a Russian, and he's like, "Oh, fuck that! That was it. How dare you call me what I am?"
This was another one where there was no subtitles available. So I got so pissed off by halfway through the movie that I kind of quit giving a shit about what they were exactly saying. So don't expect specifics in my rundown of the movie.
I think that what pissed me off the most was the representation of Bruce Lee.
Yeah, you mean completely not that. Bruce Lee?
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee's too important to do something like that.
Not to mention the fact that you're showing him all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
Like, you can't compare this dude to the posters on the wall.
Yeah, in the same shot behind his back, there's a real Bruce Lee.
This was just this was a bad idea.
I mean, they could have
to shoehorn fucking magic into this Karate Kid ripoff.
Yeah, but they could have just used a disembodied voice of Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we're getting too far ahead. Sorry.
They could have Tarantino'd it like he did with Elvis in True Romance. Just never show his face.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Maybe a better director would have done something like that.
All right. Well, we got to start. We got to get through this. Okay. So no retreat, no surrender. We open up to the...
sorry.
Go ahead.
Just really briefly, because the director is somebody that when you read his name, I was actually kind of excited. Because he's made stuff that I actually really like. He made Ninja and the Dragon's Den, Dragons Forever with Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, and Yuan Biao. The New Legend of Shaolin, a.k.a. Legend of Red Dragon, with Jet Li.
So many dragons.
Oh, so many dragons. Which is like a retelling of Lone Wolf and Cub with like Chinese. And he like co-directed the original Transporter. I mean, like he does good work. I don't know what this is about.
This is something on its own.
One of the trivia that I read about him, though, is that his English is not very good. So,
okay,
kind of, I'm just, a person that doesn't speak English trying to direct English actors.
Happened because of Lost in Translation, I guess.
It seems like it.
This whole movie was lost in translation. Okay, so we open to the mean streets of Los Angeles, specifically the Tang Soo Karate School. A bajillion trophies are in the window as Sensei Boldcut instructs a class. Jason, however, gets a little carried away and proceeds to beat the crap out of his sparring partner. Kind of not cool considering they're only sparring.
Right.
Yeah, I can't. Wouldn't you just get kicked out of class for that?
Yeah, there's like the sensei comes in, he just says, "Hey, this is not Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do. This is karate," and then that's it. You'd think there'd be some more discipline for straight up attacking a fellow student.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering why the mustachioed 45-year-old is in the kids' class.
There are so many 40-year-old teenagers in this movie. So many.
The age range of this class is like from 8 to 53 or whatever.
There are like 4-year-olds with black belts sparring with red belt adults.
Yeah, it was very strange.
They just had a big box of belts. Everybody grab a belt. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Colors don't matter. Yeah.
Pick your favorite color.
Yeah.
We don't see colors in this dojo. Assholes.
How old do you think Jason's supposed to be? I mean, he's supposed to be like 17 or something, but how old is this guy for real?
He's got to be in his late 20s.
Yeah,
mid-20s.
If he's under 25, I don't know what to tell you. He's old.
He and his dad are the same age or something.
His dad might be younger than him for all we know.
And when you first see his dad is the sensei or whatever. Spoiler alert, that happens in 2 minutes. But when he started delivering his lines like this isn't Jeet Kune Do and all that, I was like, okay, this dude has zero acting ability. Yeah. So I thought, well, maybe he's just like a real martial artist that they put in because, he's just one of the guys. But then they get to a fight scene and it's like, nope, no, he's not.
Yeah, they all have just a smattering of martial arts. But anyway, outside, a car pulls up and some dastardly men get out. Among them, the man of the hour himself, JCVD, and looking dapper at that.
Boy, them shoes.
In his white goddamn suit.
Look, if somebody took one of Ric Flair's outfits and put it in the dryer, that's what he's wearing. He's having a hard time keeping them alligators down.
So the sensei dismisses the class, and the 3 men enter. The leader of the group, the boss, because he's smoking a cigar and he's the smallest one, so he's in charge, asks Sensei Stillwell if he's gone over their proposal, and Stillwell tells him that they came all the way from New York for nothing, and no amount of money will change his mind about joining their organization. Well, now an example must be made, so not JCVD, the other one, attacks, and Stillwell defends himself and tells his attackers that karate isn't meant to be used aggressively, but if I have to...
Then immediately gets his ass whipped.
Yeah. The students come back into the room to see the battle unfold. Stillwell handles his opponent decently, I guess, until he gets goddamn Van Dammed. JCVD just leaps into action, vaulting off his fallen comrade in a blinding array of staple JCVD kicks, breaks Stillwell's leg and knocks him to the ground. Jason runs in to his aid, but Van Damme locks him up, and the boss man tells him that they'll be back with the contract soon. And Stillwell, we find out that Jason is his son,
Well, he's what kind of criminal organization is like going to bring a contract? Like,
why didn't that hit me
contract
before?
to do crime.
That never hit me before.
Yeah. Well, not to jump ahead to the end of the movie, but what kind of a mob just packs up and leaves when they lose the organized fucking karate match?
Yeah, I don't know.
They never explain the end game of like shaking down these dojos either.
We're gonna own all the dojos, and therefore L.A.
profits.
Take over the dojo, profit.
We need to own every karate dojo from New York to L.A. to Seattle, and then we'll control the world. You're like the fucking Foot Clan or something.
There's one line I think where they say that they were going to use them as fronts, but why they choose dojos?
What are you fronting out of a dojo?
I don't know. And why choose a business where like everybody in there is going to try to fight you?
Yeah.
God damn it. Anyway.
Long story short, this movie has flaws.
Yeah. Stillwell tells Jason in an Academy Award-winning performance that fighting them just isn't the answer. So we immediately smash cut to the hospital where Stillwell's laid out.
No, this is the best because he says fighting them is not the answer. Jason says, "What is the answer?" And then it smash cuts to the hospital. I guess the hospital's the answer.
So in an inner monologue moment, Stillwell reveals to the audience that the men were from the Russian mob or something, even though none of them are Russian except for Van Damme. And all the dojos are fronts, and he decides that he can't risk his family, so they close up the dojo, and they load up the Griswold family truckster and slowly drive by their boarded up dojo one last time.
Oh, Lord.
So, cut to Seattle. The Stillwell family arrive at their new home, and they start unloading as Dad makes his way into the house, crippled. Jason secretly unloads a box from the U-Haul containing assorted ninja training gear and proceeds to go and destroy the new garage.
He's like absolutely blowing his load about the garage, though.
Yeah,
He can't believe that he's got a garage now.
And when did Dad say you can have the garage?
He didn't.
Jason just went in there and peed all over the floor.
I'm just going to go ahead and say it. He's a pretty shitty son throughout the whole movie.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So he runs back to the car to get more boxes. When he drops a basketball, it bounces over to the flyest motherfucker on the block, RJ, as he pulls up on his purple Huffy, boombox mounted on the front, scoops up the ball and dribbles it back to Jason. They both do some fancy dribbling and instant best friends.
Oh my god, this whole
as it happens in 80s movies.
So embarrassing. This whole thing
Whenever
is
he
so
first grabbed the ball, like when he first grabbed the ball, I thought he was about to take it. Because like he picks up the ball and it's just kind of like he's excited that there's a ball there, and he starts pedaling. I was like, is he gonna take that ball? But no, he just went over and started doing shitty basketball dribbling moves, and you're right, instant best friends after that.
Instant best friends. RJ. So RJ offers to help them unpack as they're glared at from across the street by Ding Dong Magoo, who says, "Bruce Lee freak, just what Kingswood needs. Why me?"
As soon as I saw him, right when they showed that kid, the first thing I thought was, Francis!
Yes! I knew you were going to say that. I knew this. I had the same thing. I said, it's Francis.
I don't understand why he's... Well, first of all, it's totally insane. He's standing outside eating an entire cake with his hands. Just outside by the car.
Well, it's an 80s movie, John. They have to establish that he's fat.
Yes.
Just looking at him isn't enough. He has to be gorging on a fucking Fudgy the Whale.
He used to have every pocket stuffed with snacks. But then he's so... Why is he so annoyed by Bruce Lee? He's got, like, the attitude of a racist, but, like, only racist against Bruce Lee.
Just Bruce Lee, yeah.
He's like, right. God damn, Bruce Lee's moving into town.
But then he's doing martial arts himself.
Yeah, yeah.
So why would you hate Bruce Lee?
Nothing this kid does makes any sense at all.
Nothing this movie does makes sense at all. So, in the garage, Jason and RJ set up the equipment and various Bruce Lee posters all over the place. After a demonstration of the punching bag, RJ launches into a rap complete with sound effects that I think the characters can actually hear. And it's just painful to behold.
Well, this is another thing, because when RJ first rides up, there's music. But he's got that jam box duct taped to his bike, so I was like, oh, it's diegetic, you know, like the music's coming from the boombox. But I think RJ actually emanates music.
Yeah, it's like when Bill and Ted do air guitars and it makes noise.
Yeah.
He just starts popping and locking, and the synthesizer jumps up. And
is it bad that, like, I was like, John lost me when he said diegetic, but whenever Chase said when Bill and Ted plays the air guitar, it immediately brought me back in.
I brought it to your understanding level with Bill and Ted.
Diegetic just means that there's a source for the music on screen.
Oh, I don't care what it means. No, thank you for the lesson, though.
Sure.
I'll use it. I'll use it as much as I can now.
Oh man. Okay, so.
But the rap, good lord,
the rap is terrible,
cringy.
It isn't to the beat of the music at all. So it's like nails on a chalkboard, kind of. It's bad. It's way faster than the beat is.
And the flow is all wrong. Now, look, by no means am I an expert in hip-hop. I mostly listen to Wu-Tang Clan, and I stopped listening a while back when Ludacris was telling women to get out the way of his truck. But the flow is it's not right.
It's a garbage. Yeah. His flow is garbage.
It's a garbage rap.
It's like it's as bad as Top That.
Oof.
Oh, it's worse than that.
Christ.
I don't know. I think it's about equal.
Top That's like that like when a dog's just so ugly it's cute. Like that's Top That.
So he goes from this rap into a breakdancing display that just winds up breaking more of the garage. RJ then tells Jason that he has some friends that have been doing karate for about 2 years now. One of them's a 2nd degree black belt.
Yeah, blew my mind right there.
That's some top quality karate, let me tell you.
Whew.
Jason tells RJ about his aspirations to be as good as Bruce Lee. And RJ tells him that he'll take him to Bruce Lee's grave tomorrow. Oh, good. We can watch him spin in it. That night, Jason trains on the wooden punching dummy thing. I don't know the name of it. He stumbles a lot, I guess, demonstrating to the audience that he is, in fact, not as good as Bruce Lee yet.
Yeah.
The next day, old Ding Dong, Scott is his actual name, is spraying Coke cans all around a yard with a power washer, like you do. His father comes out to scold him about goofing off instead of washing the windows. And as he gets back to work, he notices RJ skateboarding down the sidewalk, and things take a violent turn as he blasts RJ off the skateboard with the power washer, proceeds to fucking ground and pound him into the sidewalk. RJ retaliates with the age-old Saigon horror technique of biting his nose off.
Saigon horror.
So, Scott gives chase. running RJ into a construction site located entirely in a 3x3-foot square of sidewalk. RJ jumps over a ladder being carried by two construction workers, like they do in cartoons. And Scott follows. He jumps over it, and they applaud him for his superhuman feat of leaping over this ladder.
Yeah.
RJ then jumps a barricade, and the construction workers cheer Scott on to jump it as well.
Which
RJ...
this made me laugh because here's two grown men telling a fat kid, "Come on, big boy, you can do it." Like,
it's like, yeah, get him. Get that other kid.
Get your fat ass over that barricade.
So he slow-mo jumps the barricade, only for RJ to slide his skateboard into the landing zone, toppling Scott and kerploding the barricade under him. Which then Scott then just gives up. So RJ meets up with Jason, and they head out in the truckster to Lee's grave.
Jason comes out of the house with flowers, and I forgot what they were doing. And I was like, oh, Jason got flowers for RJ.
I forgot what they were doing for a second too. So it was weird that he had the flowers.
This is when I noticed that the car that he drives is eerily similar to Daniel's mom's car that they took in Karate Kid. There's a lot of parallels to Karate Kid in this movie.
So they arrive at the gravesite, and Jason leaves his bouquet of flowers and gives a little speech to Lee's headstone. And he asks Lee to give him the courage and the strength to stand up for what he believes. Cut to Scott and his posse eating a mountain of cheeseburgers at the Burger Time restaurant. Scott spots RJ out the window just wandering through the parking lot for some reason, and points him out to his gang, and he instructs him to keep him, whatever you do, just keep him from leaving. And then they all go out there, Scott included, and just surround him. So I don't know what master plan he was thinking of there when it was just, let's just walk out and walk up to him.
Yeah, and they totally explain away. Scott has no motivation to fuck with RJ all this time. Even the kid is like, "What's your problem with him?" And he's like, "I don't know. I just don't like him or something."
I got my reasons.
I got my reasons, right? Can't write a reason.
He takes it out on RJ because his dad probably beats his fat ass. So, they all surround RJ, and Scott calls RJ Pee-wee. Now the Francis vibes are flowing strong.
Yeah.
That's all it took.
I was giggling internally whenever he said that.
Go ahead and scream your head off. We're miles from where anyone can hear you.
Oh, shit.
RJ elbows Scott and makes a run for it, but they catch up with him and trap him in the little outdoor eating area of Burger Town. They start to rough him up when Jason starts they're just wandering the streets. I thought they had a car.
Yeah, and then they wander into the same random parking lot.
Yeah, so Jason spots him, leaps to the rescue. Scott tells Jason to beat it, but Jason and RJ go back to back and say the title of the movie, Best Friends. So get that out of the way. Then just as it's about to get interesting, old man Burger Time runs out and chases them all off with his broom.
Yeah, this is the best. They're like, no retreat, no surrender. Oh God, retreat! It's the manager.
Yeah,
retreat! I surrender.
Cheese it! It's old man McGillicuddy.
So that night, Jason returns home. His father's just waiting to reprimand him for fighting. It seems that he has sworn off fighting forever. Or it's been like a week since the incident. And it's like he swore off fighting decades ago.
What I don't get is, okay, if he's a sensei, then surely he knows that sometimes you have to fight.
Yeah.
But he didn't even ask him, he doesn't know whether he started the fight or not.
Nope. You were fighting.
Well, he fought the dudes in the dojo, so he certainly understands there are times when it's necessary.
Yeah. Until you get your ass handed to you by
until your kung fu gets destroyed by
the Brussels from Brussels. The muscles from Brussels, yeah.
Yeah. You know, like in Orgasmo, whenever he says he's never going to use hamster style again. And he never explains why to the end, and it's just because, you know what, Dad? I think I'm not going to use hamster style anymore. Okay.
So Jason, however, stands up for fighting and tells his old man that you're just trying to raise a clone of yourself for a son or something. He sends Jason to his room in a shouting match that is just hilarious.
I love the part where he's like, I'm not a child, and then he runs inside and throws himself onto his bed in his room full of Bruce Lee posters.
So after he does that, he's in his room and he just kind of like temper tantrum, like gyrates around for a little while. Then he runs into the garage to take his aggression out on the heavy bag. Cut to Reno, where it's the 7th round of some martial arts thing. Blue pants beats red pants, and there was much rejoicing. RJ and Jason are watching it on their fancy 4-inch TV set. Blue Pants, aka Ian Riley, Seattle local, has won the national championship of something. RJ knows where Ian Riley's dojo is, so they decide to go check it out. Inside, Jason talks to the receptionist about joining up. He signs a piece of paper, and within seconds, he's in the dojo, and he's going to do a class with assistant instructor Dean. And he shows Jason to the locker room to gear up, and it turns out Scott's watching from the training floor because this is Scott's dojo.
Plot twist.
So
even though he's never used martial arts before. He's in the martial arts class too.
Well, you know, later he uses that age-old karate technique of getting on all fours behind a person so that they fall over you.
Yeah. That's advanced techniques.
So Scott tells Dean that Jason was trash talking, saying that LA karate rules and Seattle karate drools.
Yeah.
Dean decides to pair Jason up with their best black belt. Typical first day stuff.
This is so dumb because, like, Dean seems like a totally fine dude. He's just like showing him around and like, hey, locker room's in here, you know.
Nope.
Come join the class.
Dean is a total ass jackal.
He's a total ass jackal, but all of his animosity seems to extend from a lie crafted by what I can only assume is the worst student in the class.
Yeah.
That Jason scoffed at Seattle karate.
Yep. So you know what? You're going up against a black belt. They won.
And for some reason, I just had to roll my eyes as soon as the word kumite started getting thrown around.
Oh, yeah. So you ready for a kumite?
Like, that's not how this works.
Well, I know when I started jiu-jitsu on my first day, I had to fight the professor, who was a black belt. He beat the shit out of me, and I had to scamper away like the end of a Three Stooges episode.
Is there any other way to join the gym?
So, Jason joins the group, and they square up. Jason spots Scott before he can explain to Dean, he's paired up to fight Frank the black belt. Frank easily manhandles Jason over and over, but Jason won't give up until RJ runs in and stops the fight, and they both flee the classroom as the class laughs at them. Like, they just run away out of the building.
So much for never give up, never surrender.
They've retreated twice already. So, anyway, happy birthday, Kelly!
I'm like, who the fuck is Kelly?
And we're going to continue to ask that question for a while before it's explained. Some suburban backyard, a thumping party is raging on.
Yeah.
Dean, Scott, and a couple other 40-year-old teenagers all hang around as Dean gloats about how Kelly's going to be putty in his arms by the end of the party. Jason, however, is back home getting all primped and ready to go. Does he know these people? At this point, I don't know. We don't know. He's just going to this party. Back at the party, Dean assaults Kelly, who isn't interested in him, as Scott continues his slapstick routine of jumping in the pool and doing stupid things.
Oh, what is he? He jumps right in and then is like, who peed in the pool? Like,
how could you tell that instantly?
I don't know. Unless it was him. It's like he's trying to cover up for the fact that he just peed in the pool.
Or maybe he pissed his pants on the outside of the pool and it was like, okay, the only way nobody's going to know is if I jump in the pool.
So I immediately just leap into the pool. So Ian Riley then shows up with his ridiculous 12-foot tall trophy.
Speaking of trophies, anybody else think that old Ian's slipping it to his sister?
How is that speaking of trophies? He's got a little bowling man on the tip of his dick.
Because he seemed pretty cozy with her.
Yeah.
And then he's like, this trophy's for you. She didn't earn it. Like, for all we know, this is a lifelong accomplishment of martial arts, and he's just going to creepily give it to his sister?
Yeah.
After he gives it to his sister?
It's revealed that Ian is Kelly's brother. I didn't go into all that.
That's what I picked up from that scene.
Dean and the guys surround him to congratulate him on his win when he gets a phone call. And it's the boss man from New York. And he's on the other line and tells Ian that if he wants to keep his dojo, you're going to meet me there in half an hour. And Ian is just perplexed by this whole thing. He's just, huh? What?
What? I thought.
So Jason then arrives at what can only be assumed at this point to be a complete stranger's house.
Right.
He runs into Ian as he's running out of the house to go to his dojo, but continues to go onto the door. They just kind of brush it off, where he's greeted warmly by Kelly. I guess I missed something.
Right.
Inside, Kelly opens her gift from Jason to find a live fucking rabbit inside. It's a good thing Ian didn't obliterate it when he ran into him out on the sidewalk.
Oh, look, you got me a responsibility.
Yeah, you cannot give a girl a pet for their birthday, dude. That's like a whole thing.
You gave me a crushed rabbit.
Yeah.
And then Jason says, I knew you would like it considering you made such a huge deal about it at the pet store the other day. Did I black out and miss the second act of this movie or something?
I think you're about to miss more.
So they start to make out when Scott and Dean walk by and spot him. And
well,
Dean
since your brother isn't home, I guess I'll make out with you.
So Dean wants to attack Jason right then and there, but Scott stops him because he clearly has other plans. Meanwhile, Ian arrives at his dojo to find the trio of men waiting for him. Sans JCVD.
Right.
There's just this new guy that's like wearing JCVD's clothes.
At first I thought it was like a double, like a stand-in.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It was just some other guy. Some
other dude. So the boss man threatens Ian to join them, and then he threatens Kelly, and Ian starts to attack him, but not JCVD motions that he's going to pull a gun. And the men leave, telling Ian that they'll be back. Back at the party, Kelly explains that Jason is a friend of hers that she met in L.A. last summer. Oh, thanks. That could have been good to know way back.
Okay. I missed that then.
Yeah. They just kind of slipped that in.
I didn't know that she met him in L.A. last summer. I thought like she met him like in Seattle last summer. And that's why I was like, hold the fuck on.
Yeah. They met in L.A. last summer.
Not apparently. That makes any more sense, but...
Yeah. And you think if he was moving to the town where this girl that he's clearly, hooking up with lives, they would have said something.
Yeah.
No. So Dean walks into the scene and once again assaults Kelly.
Yeah.
They get into a big chest bumping competition as Scott flings cake all over Jason, enraging him. Dean then knocks him flying as Jason smashes into the punch table. There's a punch table, somebody's going through it.
Yeah. Jason fucks up this entire party with his body.
Dean continues to beat the crap out of Jason when Kelly comes out. She tries to stop him, but Scott holds her back, and Jason once again retreats.
Retreats / surrenders.
Yeah.
I was going to say and/or, but you know.
Yeah. Kelly runs after him. He shoves her away and peels out in the station wagon, which doesn't help him save any face at all.
Why is he mad at her?
Because she's kind of with Dean too, against her will.
It's super weird.
It's very weird.
His wounded ego was taken over there.
Yeah.
Taking it out on Kelly.
Then in a scene,
this love, it's not even a love triangle. This love square going on between Kelly, Dean,
Jason
and her brother. Like getting confusing.
Yeah. Then in a scene ripped right out of Rocky IV, Jason angrily drives through the night as he replays the fight in his mind. So, he returns to Lee's grave and explains the situation to Lee's dead body. He tells him that he has nowhere to go and he has no one but Lee.
And I'm like, why not ask your fucking alive martial arts father, dumbass?
Dad doesn't get me. He swore off fighting a long time ago.
Bruce Lee understands me way better.
Back home, Jason and his dad get into it again. His dad bans him from the garage and starts to destroy all of his equipment. He then commits the ultimate sin and rips down Bruce Lee's poster. This sends Jason running into the night. he goes to RJ's.
That scene reminded me of Karate Kid 2. Whenever they went to Miyagi's house and started tearing up the dojo and they ripped everything up. I know that came out. I know it came out before Karate Kid 2, but now I'm wondering, did Karate Kid 2 steal that?
It's some sort of revenge for this even existing.
Yeah.
Was this a hit? I feel like this might have been a successful movie.
I can't imagine that it was.
I was explaining it to Becca earlier today, and she said it sounded familiar, and that's when I lost all faith in humanity. Like, oh God, please don't you have watched. I hope you haven't watched this.
Well, Blake, I know me and you watched our fair share of martial arts movies back in the day. I don't remember this at all.
No. This was too good even for 6-year-old Blake. Like, I mean, I can't handle this type of awesomeness at that young age.
So, Jason runs to RJ's house, where he knocks on the fence, and RJ pops over in his shower cap like he's taking a bath behind the fucking fence or something.
What is RJ's life even?
He just lives in an abandoned lot.
He just wanders around, music coming out of his body, like taking showers in the backyard.
He's also some sort of elemental.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the actor who plays him, last name is Fail.
Oh, jeez. He's a dance elemental.
Yeah. They then make a plan to use a nearby abandoned house that I guess RJ was using as a house as Jason's new training area. They set it up with candles and effigies to Bruce Lee and crack open some warm Diet Cokes to celebrate. RJ then heads out so Jason can wrap up and get home. So Jason reassembles his beloved Bruce Lee poster on the wall. He falls asleep reading this little Bruce Lee book when something magical happens. A blinding light comes through the door when not Bruce Lee walks through the door. This is just some random ass guy who's walking around pretending to be Bruce Lee and taking advantage of all these Bruce Lee fans that live in Seattle.
At first I thought like at this point I was like, you could easily say that this is just some bum that walked into the house.
Mm-hmm.
Later on they disproved that theory, but I was going on that for a little while.
Yeah, it was just some homeless Asian guy that decided he's going to teach him martial arts.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's so much going on here. we're like halfway through the movie. It's like 46 minutes in at this point.
Yeah.
It's a little late to be introducing a supernatural element to this movie.
But this is also what I was saying. They could have just used the disembodied voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or just had him in the shadows or something.
Just let him stand in that blinding light so you can just see the outline and have him talk like Bruce Lee.
Yeah. And, like, no doubt this guy had, like, Bruce Lee's movements down when he'd throw punches and stuff.
Yeah. But, I mean, it was like an impersonation, though, you know?
Yeah,
it wasn't... Yeah.
Like we said, if you'd have saw that silhouette doing those punches, you'd have been like, oh, it's Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Well, in the town where Bruce Lee's buried, I'm sure there's some Bruce Lee impersonators walking around to take pictures with. So.
Does that happen in the towns where people come from?
I don't know, maybe.
Nobody famous came from my town, so there was none of that happening.
Yeah, in Pittsburgh, there's just a bunch of Andy Warhols roaming the streets. It's funny too because like when he first walks in, Jason doesn't seem to recognize him.
Well, no shit.
Which I thought was really funny. He has to like double check. He looks behind at the poster and then looks back at him. And I'm like, aren't you the biggest Bruce Lee fan in the world? Like, shouldn't you be able to recognize this guy immediately?
He looks at him like, I can kind of see it.
He's like, yeah, I mean, maybe.
So the ghost of Bruce Lee tells Jason that he has to empty his cup so he can learn what he has to teach, and he demonstrates this by pouring Diet Coke into another cup. Lee then schools Jason on some techniques before 1-inch punching him to the ground. He tells him that his training starts tomorrow. Cue up the training montage.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Complete with music that sounds like a cat running across a synthesizer.
Oy, oy, oy.
During the montage, Jason complains that he doesn't feel like he's improving. So Lee throws a ball at his face, which he catches, so I guess he's improving.
Yeah.
Back to the montage. I don't think they found shorts short enough for him in this scene. So,
could always go shorter.
Yeah. Lee then sends Jason into his sandbag funhouse. RJ sneaks up outside to spy on him, seeing only Jason sparring with himself and talking to himself. Back to the montage. It's just these little brief montage sections, and then a little scene, and then montage section, little scene, montage.
Well, this is the montage appetizer right here.
Yeah, I mean, this whole sequence goes on for like a quarter of the movie. It's a long fucking montage.
Hey, they know what they're doing. It's the 80s chase.
Yeah. So
montage central.
Cut to some redneck bar where Stillwell is now working as a bartender. Some guy that could be Scott's father, or Scott himself, is harassing Stillwell about having been a karate teacher. Because, you go around harassing ex-karate teachers.
Yeah, that's wise.
He then pours his beer all over Stillwell's head. Stillwell tries to turn the other cheek, but the man swings a pool cue at him, which springs Stillwell's karate instincts. He disarms him, locks him up, and drags him to the door and tells him to never come back, to which the man gives the bone-chilling threat, "I'll come back and I'll get you!"
I love that he says never come back, and the guy's next line is, "I'm coming back."
I'm coming back, and I'm gonna get you.
He doesn't care.
So he throws him out into the night. That's done. Back with Bruce Lee and Jason. He has one of Jason's feet tied up, and he's making him jump kick a bag that's hanging really high from the ceiling. And once he does, Lee phases back to the afterlife, and that's it. This 20-something-year-old teenage white kid is now as good as Bruce Lee.
Yeah. In the span of what I can gather, maybe 2 days?
Yeah. Well, in a world where you can become a second-degree black belt in 2 years.
Oh, God.
So...
Look, I'm no martial arts expert. I do jujitsu. I'm still a beginner, but I know it takes a whole hell of a lot longer than 2 years to get just about anything. At 2 years, I think the only thing you get in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is just an ass whipping. I think that's it. You're definitely not getting no black belt.
Yeah. So it should be over now. It's done. Bruce Lee is left. It's over. Nope. More montage. Now we've got a montage to prove that he's as good as Bruce Lee. As Jason performs various feats of strength, the most awkward of which being these suspended pelvic thrusts.
Whoa.
As RJ sits on his crotch slurping down a fudgesicle.
It was
while like bobbing his head to music.
He's so happy about this.
So
he's sitting
weird.
directly on his dick.
Yeah, they have a very special relationship.
Jason's got his head on a bench and his feet on another bench with nothing supporting his body as he arches upward, and RJ's just sitting on his crotch.
Yeah.
And we're meant to take this as the norm.
Yeah. Interesting side note, he learned that move from Ian and his sister.
Oh man. I've been listening to this Spotify playlist called Training in the 80s. You know, it's just
That's awesome.
It's just an 80s training montage music playlist.
Yeah.
And this song was on there, and I'd never heard it before. So when it popped out, I was like, "Oh shit!" And I was getting hyped up.
Wow.
And then you saw this.
And then I saw Jason thrusting on RJ.
So Jason goes back to the wooden training dummy. For some reason now it's got candles sitting on top of it, just spraying hot wax all over the place as he trains with it. He goes back into the sandbag room, totally dominating those sandbags. The next morning, Jason drops his mom off at home and goes to pick up his dad from work. Stillwell is jumped in the parking lot by the oaf from the previous night and his goon friends. And it's like The Simpsons, where like the dads of the bullies look exactly like them, but a little bit older. So Jason arrives to see his father getting the shit beaten out of him and runs to the rescue. Jason whips each one of these men thoroughly and runs them off. Stillwell admits that he's been a fool for swearing off karate for all this time. Again, it's been about a week.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how the timeline is a little bit unclear, but
well, I mean, they shut down the dojo and they drive away, and then they're in, I mean, I don't know.
Well, I'm saying they have to. Okay, you gotta close your business. You gotta sell your old house. You gotta he's got his cast off, so it's been at least a few months.
Everybody knows you're in a cast for a total of 17 hours.
In a world where you become a second-degree black belt in 2 years, wounds heal miraculously fast.
Yes,
time is compressed in this world of this film.
So they then head home for some of Mom's home cooking. Cut to a completely different movie entirely, as a couple of thriller jacket-wearing dancers pop and lock in some nightclub, and what the fuck is going on?
This is my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, it's the most impressive part of the
movie. Jason and RJ arrive. RJ in complete Michael Jackson general attire.
Yeah, he already kind of looked like Michael Jackson a bit, but
yeah, they're just driving that point home now. They watch as some crazy ass Uncle Fester routine plays out on the dance floor. Then they spot Kelly, but Jason wants nothing to do with Kelly anymore. That time is over.
Yeah.
RJ leaps onto the dance floor and starts his routine, doing his breakdance, and then he calls for everyone to get up and dance, but Jason and Kelly aren't joining in. So
really, why? Okay, so every time RJ dances, it's obviously someone else. I mean, I don't understand why they didn't just get a person that could dance, that could do the moves to play RJ.
Yeah.
It's not like they could possibly be worse actors than him.
Didn't they just make Breakin'?
Yeah.
Couldn't they
just get one of those cats?
Too bad we can't watch that movie. And also in Breakin' 2, I gotta talk about this. One of my favorite bloopers in a movie. Breaking 2. Turbo is messing with the construction workers that are trying to take out the teen center. And he takes off running from them with their lunch kit.
A scenario that can only happen in an 80s movie.
Yeah. So he falls down a set of stairs. Now, Turbo is a short, skinny black guy with long curly hair. The guy that falls down the stairs is an old fat black guy who is bald. And it makes that whole movie just the greatest thing ever.
No one's going to catch that.
Look, I mean, you couldn't get more opposite. You know, at least in For Your Height Only, they put a hat on somebody.
yeah.
They put a hat on him and shot him at a crazy equidistance like they did in Lord of the fucking Rings.
This shit ain't gonna work. Somebody get the stunt hat on that man.
So, since Jason and Kelly aren't joining in dancing, RJ gets the 2 previous dancers to split up and get Jason and Kelly on the dance floor, respectively. And they sneakily work them towards each other and pair them up on the dance as a slow dance starts. And they immediately kiss and make up as RJ creepily looks on. The next day, the mobsters arrive, now with who I'm guessing is the big boss of the group, and still no JCVD. Disappointing movie. Apparently at some point, Ian arranged for some kind of karate competition to settle this mob beef. We didn't see that happen.
No.
But the
Nothing
boss
will
is
shut down illegal activity like a regulated sporting event.
The boss is guaranteed that they will win the competition and that Seattle already belongs to him. We haven't gotten a single dojo yet, but by God, when we win this tournament,
Seattle is ours. Yeah,
some jackass in the back of the room says, "What do you need the dojos for?"
It's insane. It's totally insane. What is this fight? Ian agrees that, okay, if you can beat me, you can do crime.
It's a fight for crime.
A fight for the soul of crime.
Later, the ring is assembled at some junior high gymnasium, and dozens arrive to watch.
Dozens arrive to watch the fate of Seattle unfold before them.
Will Seattle be taken over by crime?
First they had to take down the 3rd grade production of Winnie the Pooh off the stage so that they could set up the fucking ring.
Oh, bother.
The mob fighters, sans JCVD still, warm up in the locker room. Ian's boys warm up as well, and for some reason Scott's there, like he's going to contribute at all. The bell rings.
Standing there diegetically.
Yeah, the bell rings and...
Did I use that correctly?
No. Well, I mean...
your heart was in the right place. The bell rings and the shit show gets on. Oh shit, we didn't say that at the beginning of the episode.
We'll say it now.
This whole episode's cursed.
We're like 10 miles down the shit show road.
Too late now. In the white corner, the Manhattan Brawlers. And in the black corner, the Seattle Sidekicks.
Manhattan Maulers, Chase. It's the alliteration.
Oh, it was the Maulers? Oh, I thought it was the Brawlers. Again, no closed captions. And the Seattle Sidekicks. It's like 3rd graders. The men all enter the ring, and the announcer gives their stats. Well, some of their stats. Some weights are kept a secret from the audience. As the announcer does his spiel, the greaseball with the cigar comes in and shoves him out of the way. And he says that due to there being no real competition in Seattle, that they've changed their team's lineup. And he says they only need one man to take on all 3 Seattle fighters. Here we go. Yeah. Finally. JCVD.
And the rest of the Maulers are like, I put on these shorts and a jock strap for nothing?
Yep.
You could have let me know before we came out here.
JCVD was waiting in the wings and enters with what appears to be the fucking sharks from West Side Story. They escort him into the ring, and Ivan Krushinsky is here. It's
Very nice.
He's like a Mike Tyson's Punch-Out character. Jason, his dad, and RJ arrive, and Jason immediately recognizes Ivan. And he tries to warn Ian and I about Ivan, but they're not worried. They can handle this guy. Jason takes a seat, and the match begins. Dean's up first, and what is up with the referee's hair?
Oh, the rug on that man.
He's got a friggin' Fry Guy sitting on his head. It completely took me out of the movie. That's all I could look at.
Yeah.
I was really distracted by Van Damme's shirt when he first came out. I'm like, why wear a shirt if your nipples aren't going to be covered by it? Like, it's like the only reason to wear a shirt is to cover your nipples.
He had to wear a shirt so he'd have something to rip off when he goes into rage mode. Nipples notwithstanding.
Yeah.
So the bell rings, the fight starts. Ivan easily dodges all of Dean's attacks before he floors Dean with a kick to the stomach. Dean jumps back up, but is drop kicked out of the ring in seconds and is disqualified. JCVD does what JCV does and perches up in the corner of the ring, split style, like a fucking graceful eagle.
That was another good part of the movie right there.
Frank is up next. The match starts, and Frank is taken down within seconds. He gets up at the 9 count, but is rocked by a flurry of punches before a very real-looking roundhouse to the face knocks him to the ground.
Yeah,
this is where that lawsuit came from.
Yeah, I couldn't help but think with the whole had no control over his body movements thing.
He just knocked him in the head.
Yeah.
They then announce that to give Seattle a sporting chance, because they've already won the tournament by winning these 2 matches, that if Ian could beat Ivan, they take the whole competition.
Why didn't they just do that from the beginning?
Why not just take you just won!
That's true, too.
Yeah, they're crime. They're the crime team.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah. And it's all about to go to shit completely, this whole organized tournament. So, like John said, this falls apart, and I don't know the point to any of this.
Right.
So, the final match begins, and Ian holds his own for a little while, actually landing some blows on Ivan. He survives to the bell, and the fighters go to their corners. Round 2 begins, and Ian comes out on the offensive, and then Ivan is directed to kill him, myrtleize him. And Ivan gets Ian in the corner and unlatches a turnbuckle and starts to strangle him with it. It's the equivalent of Happy Gilmore taking off his skate and trying to stab somebody.
Yeah, where's the ref?
He's adjusting his piece.
Yeah, it's just he basically has become a WWE ref where
I didn't see nothing.
Yeah,
he's distracted so easily. Like,
even when they do something like that, the WWE refs, they'll just sit there and like count it for a second. Like, I'm gonna wrap this thing around his neck, and the ref's sitting there, 1, 2, like just counting it off. Like,
all right, that's enough strangulation. Get off of him.
Only for 13 seconds. You can only do that for. It says right here in the handbook.
Yeah. Ivan then roundhouses the ref out of the ring for trying to stop the match. Scott latches onto Ivan's ankle like a pork chop, but gets headbutted away for his trouble. Ivan returns to pummeling Ian. Kelly then steps into the ring to hit Ivan with a stool, but he takes it away and grabs her by the hair.
She's going to save her man.
This sends Jason running into the ring. Jason kicks Ivan away as the team pulls Ian to safety. Ivan recognizes Jason as Stillwell's son, and the two square up. Jason remembers Lee's teachings and stands perfectly still, not even, turning to face his opponent, waiting for Ivan to attack. Ivan once again utilizes the ring to his advantage as he rips the turnbuckle pad off and tries to suffocate Jason with it like a pillow. Ivan has Jason on the ropes when RJ calls out their infamous catchphrase. No retreat, no surrender.
But this time for real, though.
For reals this time. And it works because hearing this is like spinach to Jason, and he springs back into action. He then does this little flip kick to Ivan in the jaw, rocking him to the ropes, and then roundhouses him out of the ring. The mob then stomp off, defeated for some reason, even though they're the fucking mob.
Crime has been defeated.
Pussy-ass mob in the world. The crowd lifts Jason into the air, celebrating Seattle's victory, and the credits roll. Blech.
Ooh. Oh man,
terrible.
There's no like character arc for Jason. There's no story here. It's just like meanders around until eventually he has to fight a guy that he saw earlier. Like,
and then
it's
so
not even
many of those
revenge.
scenes,
Isn't even the drive. It's just
it's all very diegetic.
Terribly diegetic.
They could have utilized Van Damme so many more times in all the intimidation scenes. Like, he could have had a little fight with Ian. He could just what? Why was he that hard to get a hold of? He wasn't famous yet.
Here's the thing: if you have this guy, why not make him the star of the movie?
It's a really good question.
Imagine that. Imagine this movie with the roles flipped and Van Damme as Jason.
I mean, okay. At this point, and you know, I feel like I have to be a bro and say this beforehand, but like, no homo, Van Damme was looking good at that point.
Oh yeah, he was tight.
Dude was jacked.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's your star.
Yeah.
I mean, did Jason ever take off his shirt?
Yeah, he did. I mean, you know, he was muscled.
Yeah,
but he was no Van Damme.
In the hour-long montage scene, I'm sure he did a couple of times.
Yeah, but I mean, look at Van Damme.
Well, yeah.
And I guess you could say he'd never pass as a teenager, but neither did Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Van Damme wouldn't have passed off as this all-American teenager for damn sure.
Well,
they would have had to have dubbed him like Hercules in New York.
Then set it in Europe. Who cares?
Yeah, the storyline is very strange. I mean, it's obvious that it was written by a Chinese person and like should have been set in China. Like, I don't know. It's like it would have made more sense, I feel like, all these people defending their martial arts and there's the organized crime and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, because if there's anything, all Chinese people know martial arts and fight about it constantly.
Get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm talking about.
It worked in Ip Man.
I mean, there's like tons of movies with martial artists fighting organized crime.
Yeah.
Disorganized crime. This mob. Did this mob consist of only these 4 guys?
Yep.
With their wackadoo plan to take over all the dojos in the country to win?
Isn't this kind of the loose plot of Kung Fu Hustle? Just minus the dojos.
What were they trying to do in Kung Fu Hustle?
They were just coming to take over. It was organized crime.
Yeah.
And all these martial artists tried to stop them and save the soul of Seattle. That was in it.
Oh, yeah.
You see, his dad shouldn't even have been a martial artist. He should have been like a baker or something. And the mob's coming to put like the shakedowns on like just any businesses around. And Jason just so happens to take martial arts. And his dad doesn't want him to do martial arts. That's a normal fucking movie.
Yeah. And like, why is Jason starting in karate? If he's a big fan of Bruce Lee, why isn't he doing Jeet Kune Do or like Shaolin Kung Fu or something instead?
Right.
I don't have the energy for this movie anymore. This was such a letdown. I feel robbed.
You should.
Too bad.
Poor John. See, I've been on John's side since the beginning.
Now, you guys are still both going to have to deal with my revenge pick.
Well, you got 2 movies before that happens, so.
Yeah.
Actually, mine is going to be, I'm picking a movie for John. Just because I feel he's been treated so unfairly.
Before we get to any of that, we got to do the questions.
Yeah.
We do 5 questions, and John gets the wonderful indignity of doing questions for this movie he did not pick.
Yes.
Well, that's fine.
Here's where you get your revenge. And just
you
do a bunch of Blake questions.
You're gonna hate it. You're gonna hate it when I get to my movie. You're gonna hate it. All right. You guys all set?
Yep.
All right. In the opening training scenes of the movie in the dojo, there was one member of the class that had a name on the back of his gi. What's the name?
Oh, no.
God, I knew I needed to remember that bastard's name. I knew it. Why does that guy have his name on his gi like he's a goddamn NFL player?
I don't know. That's why it stood out to me.
I know what, it's just between 2 names. Okay.
What color is Scott's belt?
Oh,
What color belt is he? Name one of the 2 things that Jason's dad's bar does not allow.
What?
There are 2 things that have signs that say they're prohibited in the bar. You can name one of the 2 things that have signs prohibiting them.
Okay, I'm trying to think of things you're not allowed to bring into a bar, so.
What the hell?
How many bags are hanging from the ceiling in the training montage?
Shit.
God damn.
And finally, what is the name of the club that they go dancing at?
Okay.
I don't remember.
Alright, that's it.
Alright. I know I'm gonna kick myself with that name.
What is the name on the back of the gi?
Rodriguez?
Rodriguez!
Rodriguez.
Thank God.
What color is Scott's belt?
White.
White.
He's white belt.
It's only because they don't award cheeseburger belts. The only person that has a cheeseburger belt is Steven Seagal.
Yeah. It's only because he needs something to hold his gi closed. They don't have a no belt.
Right.
One of the 2 things that Jason's dad bar does not allow.
I'm going to say pets.
I'm gonna say tabs, like a bar tab.
It was dogs and checks. I feel like
I was
pets
gonna say checks.
Pets is. I feel like I can give you pets.
Yeah, give them pets.
I feel like you can give me pets too.
Yeah, give them pets. I was gonna say checks too, but I was like, no, it was the 80s. Of course they'd take a check. Stupid.
No Apple Pay.
How many bags were hanging from the ceiling?
7.
6.
It was 6.
Son of a bitch.
Jesus, Chase.
I'm on a guessing fucking hot streak this season.
Jesus, Chase. Well, you can't possibly guess this last one unless you knew it. What was the name of the dance club?
Razzle Dazzle.
Okay, I got a name of a place, but I can't remember if it was the dance club or the bar that the dude worked in.
Okay.
So this could be very wrong. Was it the Tennessee Cotton Gin?
Ah, you motherfucker. Yeah, it was the Tennessee Gin and Cotton Company.
Jesus Christ.
That's insane. That's insane.
I swept it. I fucking swept the board.
If I wouldn't have changed my answers I wouldn't have got the dance club one, but I'd have gotten the other two. Change my fucking answers. Oh well.
Oh,
that's ridiculous.
The current standing is Blake with 3, John with 4, and me with 9.
Well, that'll change next week, buddy.
Yeah, that's just unreal.
I'm going to tailor my questions to John because I've been with John since the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, it's a shame because you're not picking the next movie. I am.
Well, I mean, when I do pick a movie.
Yeah. Well, you both get a chance to catch up with me because I don't get to answer questions next week.
Yeah, well, go ahead and get to it. Shit.
Okay. So.
Feeling diegetic over here.
So what I have selected for my next pick, I'm going to take us down a road that I've taken us down before into the mystical land of sword and sorcery. Italian sword and sorcery, to be exact.
Hell yeah.
And we will be watching the 1982 classic, Gunan, King of the Barbarians.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have been considering this one too.
80-minute runtime, 2.5 stars on Amazon, 3.3 stars on IMDb. Directed by Francesco Prosperi, who also directed Throne of Fire, Hercules in the Haunted World, and Wild Beasts. Starring Pietro Teresi, also in Throne of Fire, Iron Master, The Swords of the Barbarians. Just nothing but that kind of shit. Melissa Longo, also in most of the Thor the Conqueror, Star Odyssey, Captive Women 4.
Hey now.
And Emilio Messina from Miami Super Cops, The Swords of the Barbarians, and Hercules and the Tyrants of Babylon. Plot synopsis. The peaceful countryside village of Salman is savagely assaulted by the wild Ungnaughts, led by the bloodthirsty Magan. In the midst of battle, 2 baby boys are miraculously saved by a tribe of Amazon warriors known as the Kuniats. The warriors nurture and train the boys for future struggles. The stronger of the 2 is named Gunan the Invincible. It is up to Gunan to avenge the annihilation of his people.
These names are so fucking garbage.
Gunan stages a spectacular one-man war of vengeance against his enemy, the Ungnaughts. But they prove to be a formidable enemy, and much bloodshed ensues.
Gunan.
Now, let me tell you of the days of mediocre adventure. Yeah, it ain't that. Oh my god. And, yeah, it's Gunan. Fucking Gunan.
How's it spelled?
Gunan.
Oh, that's Gunan.
Nah, it's Gunan. He's the stronger of his 2 brothers, Gunan. The other one is Poonan, the unremarkable.
You shut up. Oh, okay, you're making a joke. All
right. Plot keywords. Sword and sorcery, slow motion, tiger, thong, violence, torture, head cut, cruelty, black magic, beach, and Italy.
Sounds great.
Reviews, I have no words, acceptable Italian trash, and this is the best barbarian movie ever made. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, glad one of us is.
It ain't. I don't think it's going to be Time Barbarians. Luckily.
Yeah. Sounds like it'll be more violent.
From what I've read, it's a straight up ripoff of Conan. So
nice.
Yeah. It sounds like it. Well, that's pretty exciting. I want to watch that.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Oh, Italy.
Yeah. So that's that. Ugh.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'd like to thank everybody that's been listening. If you'd like, you can drop us a review on iTunes, and we'd very much appreciate that.
Do it.
Do it. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Garbage Theater. Also on Twitter at Garbage_Theater, and on Instagram at Garbage_Theater. If you'd like to recommend a movie to us, send it our way to any of our social channels, or you can email us directly at garbagetheaterpodcast@gmail.com. Last thoughts on No Retreat, No Surrender.
Sucked.
I want to retreat and surrender from this movie.
I'm about to say, run away, because that's what that means in this universe, I guess.
Well, the reason I thought that it might have been successful is that there's at least one sequel, right? Is there more than one?
Is there?
I don't know. I'll have to look into it, but yeah, I know there's at least one sequel.
Well, good for them.
There is. No Retreat, No Surrender 2.
Mm-hmm.
Made in 87. Starring no one from the first one.
That's gonna be my pick next week.
Yeah, starring absolutely nobody from the first one.
Oh wow.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
And the poster for it has some woman jump kicking, some guy holding an AK-47, and another guy holding a crossbow.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Has no connection with the original No Retreat, No Surrender.
All right.
It's like Troll 2. They had to get the name power.
I was just about to say that.
All right. So that's that. It's done. We will see you all next week as we break apart Gunan, King of the Barbarians. We'll see you then, folks.